The chip in your phone started as ordinary sand. 90 days later, after roughly 1,000 separate manufacturing steps, it became one of the most complex objects humans have ever built. It starts with raw silicon, refined again and again until it reaches purity of 99.9999%. That's sometimes called 6 nines purity. Impurities reduced to less than 1 part per billion. That polysilicon gets melted in a quartz crucible at over 1400 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to turn solid silicon into a glowing molten liquid pool. A small seed crystal is dipped into that molten silicon, then slowly pulled upward, rotating the entire time. As it rises, silicon solidifies onto the seed in a single, unbroken crystal structure. No random grain boundaries. This method is called the Czochralski process, and growing just one ingot takes weeks of continuous operation. The result is a cylindrical, single crystal ingot, sometimes called a boule, stretching well over 1 meter long. A finished ingot can weigh more than 300 kilograms, nearly pure, crystallized sand. And that's just the raw material. The chip hasn't even been designed onto it yet. Next, that ingot gets sliced into thin discs using a wire saw, carefully controlled to avoid cracking the crystal. Each disc is then lapped, etched, and polished again and again until it reaches a mirror-smooth finish. The flatness requirement is extreme, less than 1/10 of a micron of variation across the entire surface. That's the semiconductor wafer, typically 30 centimeters across, roughly the size of a large dinner plate. At this stage, before any circuitry has been added, a single blank wafer already costs $100 to $200. Multiply that by the thousands of wafers a modern fab processes every month, and the material bill becomes enormous. But a blank wafer is just a canvas. Nothing on it works yet. It can't compute or switch anything. To become a chip, it needs a pattern printed onto it, layer by layer. And printing that pattern is the single most repeated step in the entire manufacturing process. So how do you print a pattern smaller than a virus over and over without a single mistake? The process is called photolithography, and it's essentially a very precise form of printing. A light-sensitive coating, called photoresist, gets applied evenly across the wafer's entire surface. Then a mask carrying the actual circuit pattern is placed above the wafer, and light shines through it. At the most advanced nodes, that light is extreme ultraviolet, generated by machines costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Wherever light passes through the mask, the photoresist chemically changes, ready to be developed. The unexposed resist gets washed away, leaving an exact copy of the mask's pattern behind. From there, etching removes material in the newly exposed areas, carving the actual circuit shapes into the wafer. A single advanced mask set for one modern chip design can cost between $10 and $15 million. And here's the catch. This entire cycle, coat, expose, develop, etch, has to repeat for every layer. You print it with focused light, one layer at a time, at a cost of millions per mask. Modern chips aren't built in one pass. They're built in layers, stacked directly on top of each other. A leading-edge logic chip can have 9 or more separate layers of metal wiring alone. That's on top of the base transistor layer underneath it, which needs its own separate process entirely. Each layer needs its own coating, exposure, development, and etching cycle, repeating the whole process again. Add it all up, and a modern advanced chip requires between 1,000 and 2,000 individual process steps. Engineers measure fab speed using cycle time, roughly how many days it takes to complete one layer. Here's the surprising part. Most of a wafer's time in the fab isn't spent being processed at all. It's spent waiting in line for the next machine in the sequence to become available. When you add all those steps and all that waiting together, the numbers stack up fast. A modern advanced node wafer typically takes about 90 days, 3 full months, start to finish. After 90 days of this, does every single chip on that wafer actually work? The honest answer is no. Dust particles and tiny alignment errors cause some chips to fail. For a new, cutting-edge chip design early in production, typical yield might run 70 to 90%. How many chips even fit on one wafer varies enormously, depending entirely on the chip's design. A small, simple chip can yield thousands of working dies from a single wafer. A massive, high-performance AI processor might yield fewer than 80 chips from that exact same wafer. Once the wafer is finished and tested, it still isn't a usable chip on its own yet. It has to be cut apart, a process called dicing, to separate each individual chip from its neighbors. Those individual chips then get packaged, sealed, wired, and mounted onto their final housing. That packaging and testing stage alone can add another 8 to 10 weeks on top of the 90 days. Multiply this entire 90-day journey by the actual scale of a modern fab, and the numbers get hard to believe. In 2026, TSMC's 3-nanometer production alone is on pace to reach 180,000 wafers a month. Their newer 2-nanometer process is targeting 140,000 wafers a month within about a year. That means, at any given moment, tens of thousands of wafers are somewhere in that 90-day journey right now. Some are just beginning as molten silicon. Others are already being diced into finished chips. A single leading fab's cleanroom can span an area equal to more than a dozen soccer fields, running continuously, every hour of every day, all year, without stopping. So the next time you unlock your phone, remember, sand, refined, sliced, patterned with light 1,000 times, shipped 90 days later.